Go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bleeding Orange Blue. We got a video with both the Seans. We got Sean, who you guys all know, and we got Sean Lanny over here. Absolute muffin. He's first time. Sean, how does it feel?
She was great.
So we got
She was,
Costello. Okay, wait, what were you saying?
I was gonna say it feels like a life accomplishment.
Wow, Sean, it's really, I'm really glad that you've made it this far in your life. I'm proud of you, man.
It felt like that for me too, Sean.
hmm
It runs in the root of the name, Sean. It's
It
just a
does.
legacy. Okay, Costello, you're starting with the Ducks. Where do you want them to go? Well, how is
So
their deadline?
I'm gonna say the Ducks go in Milbury mode.
Really? That's kind of controversial. Why?
I mean, I didn't really see much going on in there. Like, I don't think they improved their team, and I don't think like they got picks, yeah, but they didn't improve. And I just don't like the Ducks. They have the youth, but they don't have any stars. Like you need someone to lead the youth, and I would have gotten someone that leads, but they didn't really.
Yeah, that's kind of fair. I don't know though. Like, I feel like I'd put them in because they didn't really do much.
Yeah. I mean, they did trade Klingberg, but like a fourth.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't really do anything because he didn't really perform up to
Yeah.
expectations, but still.
Was it just Klimberg that they moved? I mean, like, they could have moved Gibson, to be honest.
I think they made a few other small deals, but
I'm
nothing
willing to
huge.
vote him to shush. I feel like Milbury is a little hard. Like, Milbury's gonna be where there's got to be like worse teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Now I'm giving Sean Lanny. Sean Lanny getting the call here.
The
Sean, you're getting
Yodis.
Yodis.
Oh, I say we put him in the worst one.
Milbury. Interesting. Hey, give your reasoning.
I mean, purely on the Chikrin deal. I mean, that was a blunder.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was.
they did get a first, second, third, but what we were all expecting? Nah.
The fact that like Dmitry Orlov arguably got more in his package than Jacob Teachen is absolutely shocking. I mean, this
It's just
guy was like holding out for so long.
it's just poor asset management.
Yeah, they really screwed up there. Honestly, too, I don't know why they didn't retain it all. Like they weren't willing at all. That to me is like a little.
It's
I
not
don't
even
know.
that. Like they should have just made the deal in the first place, like earlier, like a week ago,
You know
instead
what?
of like,
I want to know is the Kings offer.
yeah, nah.
Because like if it's more than a first and 2 seconds, then they really messed up. But otherwise, I don't know.
I mean, they did do like good with like Patrick Kane, like getting a third for salary retention. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that
good.
was really good. And the Ghost Bear wasn't bad. Like that was a guy that was sold there for a
Mhm.
buyout, but the chicken definitely hurts him there.
I mean, besides the Chikrin, I think they had a pretty good deadline, but
Yeah,
like that one deal.
I would agree with that. Sean Costelli. What did you even want? Shawnee C. You got any
Yeah.
thoughts on the Yodis?
Yeah, I feel like the Yotes are in Milbury. Like, you can't be like going around the league boasting that you're gonna be like, oh, I want like 25 prospects, a star player, and then trade them for what you did trade them for. Like, I was looking at this video. I don't know what it was from, but it's just like that pirate from SpongeBob, and he just goes, "That was all to the trade," and that's just what I felt. Like that's it. It was just so underwhelming.
Okay, yeah, I think that about sums it up. I'm glad we're all in consensus there. I got the Bruins, which is such an interesting one. This is our first buyer, so I think it's above solid, but I don't know that they fleeced. I really like Bertuzzi. I'm gonna go with very nice. Like Bertuzzi is a Bruin, Orlov is a Bruin, and I love those deals. I do think that you are a team that needed to do what you did. The core is old, so you gotta buy now. But I also think like I can't put you in fleeced because I don't think you fleeced. I don't think you were the best team of the deadline, but I think you're very high, very nice.
I think they made the deals that they needed to make. Like they're pretty much a complete team already. But I mean,
Yeah.
they just added like to what they needed. I think that's what they did. Like adding Garnett halfway. That's sandpaper for the playoffs. It's,
They're so good at getting Bruins. You know what I'm saying? Like
mhm.
Tyler Bertuzzi, like missing the teeth and being like a gritty top six guy, like that guy is such a Bruin. He
I
just
mean,
needs that.
Yeah.
giving up
The
a
fact
first for him. Oh shit, you go.
no, wait, you can go.
Good coordination, boys. Someone go.
All
Sean,
right, I'll
go.
go. The fact that Tyler Bertuzzi is like a third liner on that Boston team, they don't even have Taylor Hall. Imagine when Taylor Hall comes back. Like Tyler Bertuzzi right now is on the third line. Like that just
Disgusting.
shows how good of a
Yeah.
team.
And Nick Foligno. Nick Foligno's out too.
I know. Like that's just absurd.
That team is crazy.
All to lose
Y-
the Islanders in the first round.
yeah, of course, because you know it's all about the Islanders.
I
That's
mean, giving up a first for him is a little steep, but when you're going for it all, you can't complain about that.
The first round is steep, but when you have a team like that, I don't think you
Yeah,
care.
no, you
yeah.
can't care. You got to go all in.
And you know what? That's the price. Like, I know that a first is a lot, and people will slam Horvat, and even like, I'll admit this was a little biased, and it was before Tarasenko lit it up. But like, I thought that was a lot because Tarasenko's value is way less before the deadline. He definitely deserved what he got. Now, the Rangers made a nice move there. I'll admit it. Unbiased Michael, it's a rare appearance. But like, the first is just that's the price of doing business to me. Bertuzzi, he's going to be a rental because they can't re-sign him, but like he's kind of a younger guy. He's a younger UFA, so I kind of like it. I don't know.
We should get Tyler Bertuzzi.
I would like Tyler Bertuzzi on the honestly. This is just where I go. You know, like this is gonna be when I was sitting there last offseason, like, man, if Pasta becomes a free agent, we should really be all over this. Now we're here. He got locked up. Also, they locked up Pasta, actually. That kind of makes me want to put them higher, but I'm going to
I mean,
leave.
was that like a deadline acquisition?
I mean, I don't know. Like the Islanders last year, their deadline was Parise and Clutterbuck extensions. So we counted that.
Listen, I love the Parise extension.
Everyone loves it. Dude, best, most underrated player. But we'll get into that. We got to hold the Islanders talk because, you know, we got to hold it. We got to give these other teams their shining. Sean, you're up with Buffalo, which, like, honestly, good luck to you because I don't really know totally what they did.
I think they
Me?
had a solid. Oh wait, which
Yeah,
one?
Shawnee Costello, Shawnee C. I got to
Man,
differentiate.
you're really
Shawnee
messing
C.
this
Shawnee
up.
C.
Buffalo. Let's see here. I'm gonna look this up.
They
here,
got
'cause I
Greenway. They got Greenway. I
They
know.
got Greenway and Stillman.
Sean, if you want to pass it off and take Calgary, that one might be tougher though. Honestly,
No. I've already looked it up. I've already committed.
okay.
All right, so let's see. So yeah, I don't really see much happening from here. Like, let's see. They got
He's doing his
much.
research.
Yeah, they got a 7th round pick for Rasmus Asplund. I mean, Jordan Greenway. I don't really know much about Jordan Greenway. He's $3 million cap hit though, so I don't know if he's good or not. They traded they traded future considerations for Anders Bjork. I mean,
I'm
they
thinking
got Ryan Still.
they got who?
They got Ryan Stillman.
Okay.
O'Reilly Stillman.
Well,
Yeah,
thanks for the news reporter. Who are you gonna pick?
I don't really know how to rate this though. I'm gonna say just meh because I don't think they lost anything and I don't think they gained anything.
I would agree, but I want to hear Lanny's input here because I feel like he kind of has some info for us here.
I think they had a solid deadline, low key. Because I mean, they're not trying to go for the. I mean, they're not going for the cup, but they want to show their players that they still want to compete. Paying Josh or Bloom for Stillman, he's still young, but it shows they're going for it. And then Jordan Greenway paying a second and more for him. That's a little steep, but he's sandpaper. He's having a bad year, but last year he had a good year. He's very physical, but I think he's what they need for the playoffs if they make it. So I'm
Especially
kind
as a young team, yeah.
and they didn't give up much this for like much of their future players. So
And I think that's a good move too, because like Ottawa or like New Jersey for me, like Ottawa maybe a little bit less so, but like
mm,
these teams have been bad for so long. I guess Buffalo too, but Buffalo has not developed for a while. And now I guess letting those prospects still trickle in. There's still some spots to be filled. So I would be okay with solid, but I'll go on Shawnee
yeah,
C's vote there.
yeah, either one's fine.
I'm okay with either. So if Shawnee C wants to move it up to solid, I'll vote with that. I'll just vote with what the majority's thinking on this one.
I mean, I don't know if it's solid or not because they didn't do anything. Like
That's true.
I think it's just they didn't get any like mind-boggling players, but they didn't lose anything that was anything.
I'll go
So
with meh. I'll go with meh. I mean, I'll go with meh.
I would have liked to see them get more defense, but I mean,
If they got Chikrin, that would be nasty.
Imagine.
oh my god,
Power,
Dude.
Darlene
really make Buffalo.
Chikrin back there. Oh my God.
for the next year. Not even this year, like years to come.
I'm going to hand this one off to Lanny. You got Calgary, another kind of a boring one.
I think they were in a tough position because I think their GM was expecting them to do more, like the team wise, be in a better position. So I think his hands were kind of tied. I mean, I don't think they really did much. I mean, I know they traded Richie. That was a sick trade. Trading the brothers.
Brothers, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. But
You
I
can
don't know.
go shh if you think like they didn't do anything. That's the one
Yeah.
category where it's kind of like not man. It's just like they
I
didn't
think
do
sure is probably where it's at because I think they're just waiting for next year to see, like hoping that was just this year was a one off and hoping next year the core comes together.
Yeah, I agree with that. They didn't do anything.
Did yeah, I agree with that too. Did the Canes trade their first this year? I know they got Ghost Bear. Did they trade their first?
I think they traded a fourth for Shane Gostisbehere.
Was that their only move?
I think it might have been.
I feel like they added one more player.
Me too, but I don't know who it was.
Check.
If it wasn't, I'll go with this. You know what? I like Ghost Bear. I think he's a good guy on the back end, and I feel like acquiring a defense. I don't know. I think defense have a depending on skill. I think it's kind of like so forward. Wait, what happened?
They got Pool VR. That's right.
Oh
Okay, that's interesting.
yeah. I think they did a solid trade deadline because
Uh,
Shane he has 2 goals in 2 games.
You know, listen, the Pulley-RV trade for me is like one of those deals where it's kind of like Joshua Ho saying, like, he wasn't working in this market, so he had to get moved. Like, just the principle of it. I'm not obviously comparing to Joshua Ho saying, but I like that deal for them. I like Ghost Bear. I think defensemen are guys that you're going to get more value than a forward on average, even though forwards will have a higher ceiling. And the Met category, I think, is going to be a lot of teams that were kind of like average, you know, like I guess the Flyers want to go there, but I just think there's more teams in Met. I'm willing to put them in solid. I'm okay with that.
I don't know. Just based off like what other teams did in the East, kind of just looked like. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Pulley-RV and Ghost Bear isn't incredible. I mean, Ghost Bear also like a couple years ago, legitimately, he was on the Flyers, right? Like he was a captain, you know. So that to me benefits
Yeah, he
the
turned his
Yotes
career.
deadline.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to move it down. I mean, they didn't give up a lot, but they're a team that should have done that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to move it to Meh.
Even if they didn't get like the superstar, I was expecting like at least something, like something to move the needle.
Yeah, like the Avalanche who we'll get to soon. They didn't give up the first, they didn't get a superstar, but Lars Eller's a nice depth center. Sean Costello's getting absolutely he's getting absolutely not lucky here. He's got the Blackhawks.
Chicago Blackhawks, absolutely terrible. I don't want to see them in the NHL anymore. They got Mike Milbury rating, in my opinion.
You want to
Disgusting.
What did they do?
Wow.
The Kaner trade?
The Kane trade, They got freaking Anton Kudobin for Max Domi and Dylan Wells. Like,
And
I
a
don't even think.
second.
Yeah, I don't even think Kudobin played this year.
No,
And you
it's
trade,
just
Captain.
salary. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just salary.
and then you I would have wanted a little bit more for Patrick Kane because Patrick Kane's a big fish. Like, obviously hasn't been producing as much this year as he has before. But like, I would have wanted like a player or something, not
Or
like a bunch of
first.
picks.
Listen, I will say this to the situations. I still think that their highest potential would be a meh. I wouldn't vote them
Mhm.
any higher than that. But and I'm not going to initiate a vote. I'm okay with them at Millbury, but I think that the Blackhawks were dealt really bad cards, right? Like Max
Yeah,
Domi,
no.
you had to get the cap dump, so you got Hudobin. And then the Patrick Kane, I mean, the guy's literally in the media. He's a UFA who's been with your franchise for a while, so you got to do the right thing for him. And he's in the media crying. It's the Rangers only, Rangers are bust. So, honestly, respect to the Rangers for giving them a second because could have given him a seventh at this deadline. I don't know, but I'm definitely down with Milbury.
I don't know. I feel like their hands were tied with the Kane. They couldn't really do anything with that.
Yeah,
At least
no,
they got something out of it. Like,
Domi.
That's true. I mean, I'm okay with a low meh, but for me, like that's up to Costello because I'm not totally down for that.
you also have to remember they got a first or they got something for Sam Lafferty and Jake McCabe.
I forgot about that.
I mean, that was a
Actually,
good trade.
I
Wait.
might go to meh for that. That to me is like kind of a fleece because listen, Jake McCabe was a guy who I think was not really that much before he went there. And I think it was a free agent signing. Sam Lafferty is a depth center on a good team, and they got a first plus for them. I'm willing to
They
vote
did
to
get a
meh.
first.
Yeah, they got a first plus. They
That's
got
good.
some guys too.
That's good.
I'm
Wait.
willing to go meh.
Conditional first though. What's a condition?
I think I don't know. It might just be like a playoff thing. Like I know the Kaner one is also conditional. So if they make the Eastern Conference Finals, then it becomes a first. Honestly, I'm willing to go meh. Maybe
Yeah, I think
even
it's meh.
I'm willing to go meh. Maybe solid.
I mean, we could always come back to it. Like,
Yeah, I'm putting it in meh.
All right, I might have lashed out in Chicago too much here.
Okay, Sean, you're up with the Avalanche.
I
Lanny,
mean,
Lanny.
I feel like they had a solid deadline. Like, even though they haven't been doing their like average this year, you have to remember like McCarr's injured, Landeskog's been out. I mean, I know they got Eller, but like, who else did they get? Like,
I don't think they did anything else.
I mean, Eller
Keith
kind of
Kincaid.
Kincaid. I mean, it's death for the goaltending, but
But
I
third
mean,
line depth.
yeah.
Third.
I mean, Eller, he's good veteran, but what else? I think they're hoping to just get their core back in shape for the playoffs and hope to go back into
So where do you
it
want to put
healthy.
them?
Say, nah, could go solid either one.
Listen, I love who's their second line center before Eller? Who was filling the Kadri
Kadri?
gap? But
Yeah,
did they have
I don't
another
know.
one? I love the Lars Eller trade because
Yeah, I
this
love it.
team has been kind of meh since losing Kadri, who's an elite second line center. And I still don't think Lars Eller meets that. But I think that's a great move to get a second line center who's a good playoff experience guy. I'm down for meh. I mean, solid. I kind
I
of
would
want to
do
vote
solid.
that out.
Solid's fine.
Shawnee C? Any?
Yeah, I'll put him in solid.
Okay. I'm on with the Blue Jackets. I'm hot take right now, but I am the biggest Jonas Corposalo fan, and I'm going in Milbury. I'm being 100% honest. I mean, listen, that trade was a first, and Jonathan Quick, who honestly you could have gotten picks just for taking on the salary for Jonas Corposalo, who's a great young goalie on a bad team, and Gavrikov, who's a good defenseman. They're both going to be UFAs. But I think Corposalo could come back. I know Gavrikov isn't, and that kind of sucks for the Kings. But I think you could have gotten way more. I'm sorry. You could have done way better here. I think that was one of their only trades. Like, they didn't even do, like, salary retention thing, and that could have really helped you. I'm going Milbury. I don't know how I feel about voting up, but if you guys vote against me, I'm okay with it. Like I'm not gonna protest.
Yeah, I could go Milbury because Jonas Corposalo, like with that defensive core that he has in front of him, he's 10th, and I think he's top 10, or I think he might be 10th, or
I
at
don't
least
know what he is, but he's got a 913. That's all I know.
yeah, and that's pretty good for the team that he's on.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Corposalo is like he's really underrated. I've always like admired him as a goalie, and I would have asked for more 100%.
I feel like Lenny disagrees with us. I just got a feeling.
No, I agree. I mean, although the defensive market was like pretty shot, like not shot, but like the value of it, I feel like they could have got more. Like at least something, because if you look at it, like they got a first for, just say like put it side by side, a first for Corposal, and who else? Like who else did they get? Like a third or something, a fourth.
I don't know. I think it was a first, a second, and a fourth, maybe. If
They got
you
a second. All right, then that's fair then.
No, they didn't get a second. They got a first and a fourth. I just was thinking about. I made a mix up there because I was thinking about like O'Reilly, Dmitry Orlov, Tarasenko. The kind of like I feel like a lot of these guys, it was kind of like a first and a second as kind of a minimum. They didn't even get a first and a second for two guys that could have, in my maybe Gavrikov is a stretch, but I think if someone was really desperate, could have maybe commanded a first. Like Corpusalo definitely could have. They
Yeah,
only got the one. And Quick's contract, I know he becomes a UFA, I think, but 5
it's
million,
captain.
you could have gotten like 3 there. I don't know.
You have to remember, like Gavrikov, they were looking for like a first and like plus more after that too. I know the D market dropped, like the price of it. It's like a buyer's market, but still.
Honestly, I kind of think that like everybody thought they were going to get more than they did. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
probably they had offers that were more than this was. But the thing is they all kind of got cocky and the market ran dry. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Like you remember that a deal in place with the Bruins? I forgot about that.
yeah, they
And that fell
did.
through.
A lot of deals fell through. Like the Kings and Chitrin was almost a done deal for a couple days. He was out of the lineup for a little bit, and then just out of nowhere they turned to Columbus.
Mm-hmm. Like I feel like a lot of GMs this year just like tried to wait, and they waited too long. They got burnt.
Yeah, I agree. Shawnee C, you got Dallas.
Dallas, I feel like honestly, I feel like they did a solid trade deadline. Like they got rid of Corpusala, or they got rid of Kudobin. They got Max Domi and Dylan Wells. Like Kudobin was just kind of sitting there, and you got Max Domi. I like Max Domi. I like this game, and they also got Evgeny Dadonov for Denis Gurianov. I feel like Dadonov is a better player, and I feel like it's a pretty good improvement there. Like I'd say it's solid.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
I agree
really
with
like
that.
our solid section of it so far. I mean, that was a really good trade. Guryanov hasn't been anything since that cup run, and Dadonov I think already scored. And Domi, people are not really noticing that he's got like 40 points this season. Like he's not playing up to the second overall pick, but he's pretty solid, and that's a really good move for just a second. Like I don't know, kind of a sleeper to maybe even get some top 6 minutes at some point in the regular season. Probably not in the playoffs, but maybe, one game I could see him logging a couple. Okay, I'm gonna go to Sean Lanny with the Wings. This is a interesting one. Interesting one.
Hmm. I don't know. I
My
feel like
Wings. So don't talk too bad about
your
them. I love
Wings,
the Red Wings.
big Wings
I'm willing
fan,
to bet
big
100%.
Stevie Y
Islanders,
guy,
then Red Wings. Islanders, Red Wings, Senators. Those are my
big
three
Stevie
favorite
Y
teams.
guy, big Stevie Y.
I'm a massive Stevie Y guy. I love Stevie Y.
I would never want to make a trade with Stevie Y. I feel like he's gonna fleece. But I
100%.
mean, I feel like he had a good deal, good deadline. I think he looked in the standings, saw that he didn't think they were gonna. He could have won, like got JVR and stuff. I feel like he thought it's not their year.
I would have liked the JVR trade. I think that would have honestly maybe thought. Where did you want to put him, by the way?
think solid.
Okay. I would have liked the JVO trade. Like, I feel like that's a nice way to kind of not buy, but kind of conservative buy. I think that's the spot they're at. And the Hrenek deal was nice. That makes me
Oh,
really
yeah, I
hurt
forgot about that.
Vancouver's stock. And Bertuzzi. That was a solid deal too.
Mhm. Yeah, I think they had a good deadline.
Honestly,
Because
I feel like trade deadline for Detroit. I feel like Steve Yzerman's like, yo, we're not making the playoffs this year, so they wanted to get draft picks, and that's what they did. Because, like, let's face it, I know that you love the Red Wings, but they're not making the playoffs. Not with the like, they're good. They could sneak in, and I could be completely wrong here. But with this trade deadline, I feel like Yzerman's already been like, yo, we're not making it. So he's just stacking up on draft picks, getting some good players, and they'll be back at it next year.
I think if they didn't sell these two and Verana didn't have such a drop-off season that he did, I think they do make the playoffs. But that's the way she goes. But this is a team, honestly, that is the best seller, and I'm all in on the Red Wings next season. Like, if this team gets Bedard and they've got two other first-round draft picks, they won't get Bedard because they're too good of the bad teams. But if they can get a high draft pick in this deep draft, maybe get some minutes next year and two other first-round picks, like, they're gonna be scary. I'm call it right now. Sens, Red Wings, those teams are going to be not dynasties. That's bold, but they're going to be like Penguins and Capitals in like 5 years. That's my call. That's my guarantee. It's like Sloman Shield.
Yeah, honestly, Michael, you better start like taking out a loan for my jersey here because it's over for you.
Well, you know what? It's going to need the Stanley Cup patch on it. That's all I'm saying. We actually got to get moving a little bit because I just got a timer thing that we have 10 minutes left. So let's go with the Oilers.
they're not finishing.
The Oilers are, I'll go with a solid. I don't know. Wait. Who did they trade for? Well, I'm just going to say it on the 10-minute thing just because if someone else wants to start debating and invite us, then we have more time. So we don't have to rush it. We're good, guys. We're good. We got this. Everything is okay. Zoom is not going to scam us today. Okay, on to the Oilers. What was I going to say? They got Ekholm. I like the Ekholm trade a lot. I think that Ekholm was going to be worth a lot, and Tyson Berry is one of the big parts of the deal. And listen, he's a very offensive guy. Something that I heard was, Matisse Ekholm's a nice stay-home guy to pair with some of these guys that play up in the rush. It'll help the defense. He's a good player. He's a guy who's under contract for more than just this year, so he's not a rental. I think it was the first Tyson Berry, a couple other picks. I like it. I think it's a solid deadline. Maybe very nice. I'm willing to go there if other people are. I think it's a very high solid, maybe a low very nice.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that's great.
Okay.
I think getting rid of Tyson Berry sucks for the power play, but when you have McDavid and Draisaitl, you're not really looking for much more offense. You're looking for an Ekholm, like defense.
Yeah. I would say that's fair. Who's up now? Shawnee C?
Honestly, Florida fleeced everybody this trade deadline. Oh my God, so much happened in Florida right now. There was so much going on. Nah, I'm just kidding. Just put them in shush. Don't even mention them. Let's move on.
Yeah, there's nothing to do there.
Did they even make a trade?
No, they didn't. They had 0 trades.
I mean, that's-
Okay. Shawnee Lanigan is up. We're just skipping that one. We're just going right by.
Yeah, I think the Kings, I think they had a solid, or even very nice, solid deadline. I think they addressed the issues they needed to address. Got a goaltender because I know that between Phoenix Copley and Jonathan Quick, it was terrible. But I think they addressed the defense with Gavrikov. But I don't know. It sucks that they had to get rid of Quick like that. But at the end of the day, they made their team better for the playoffs. So I'm willing to go very nice, but I can see that getting shot down.
I'm all in on very nice. I don't know how Shawnee C feels, but I love this Corpusalo trade. And Shawnee C seemed pretty high on the Corpusalo trade. Honestly, they're beating the Bruins. That was such a good trade. I'm sorry. I absolutely loved it. Love me, the LA Kings, Alec Martinez. Give me the very nice.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
This is a really interesting one. Wait, am I up for this one?
Yeah.
I don't
Oh, I
even think I
love this
deserve
one.
this one. I
I love
mean,
this one.
okay, listen. So Klimberg is gone. Oh, wait, Klimberg's in. Oh, that's wild. Jordan Greenway is out. And to be honest, I don't remember that much. Honestly, Sean, if you like this one, Shawnee Lanigan, you can take this one. I'll take a different one. Like, I'll just take the Habs. No, I'll take your Preds. I'll take your
No,
Preds.
I'm not gonna
You don't
jump
want
you
this
on
one?
No, I'll speak about it, but I don't want to take it from you.
Okay, but what if you want to trade? I take your Preds and you take my Wild.
Fair, fair.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. I'm handing it off.
I thought the Wild had a very nice deadline. At the very least, they got Klingberg for a fourth. They waited it out. They got value out of Jordan Greenway a second and more when he had a terrible year. I mean, I know it sucks that they had to get rid of him, but they got a lot of value from what. I mean, people were saying you should get a third at max, but I think he got great value. And it's just the small deals, like taking cap retention, just for the picks. I mean, just just building that draft stock.
Yeah, that's fair. What does Shawnee C feel about this?
Yeah, I'd say it's very nice. Like I agree with everything that Sean says. They they yeah.
It's effective. It's effective.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, and
effective.
I don't think they did anything that like hurt their team.
Yeah, I would say it's probably pretty fair. I mean, they didn't give up that much. They got a decent amount for what they had. Okay, Shawnee C. What you got the Habs doing?
All right.
Kidding.
So Abs, I mean, they got Nick Bonino.
They did?
Yeah, they got Nick Bonino and Tony Sud. Hooray. But other than that, like
Wait,
Dennis Gurianov,
I don't hate
Frederick
that.
Ballard, like
I think he has
I mean,
potential.
I just put them in solid because they didn't. I don't know if they lost much for what they got, but they got like veteranocity, and then they got Nick Bonino. He's got a cool name, so I just put him in solid.
Honestly, I think I kind of want to go to meh. The only guy that I like here is Dennis Gurianov, who I think has potential, but they didn't do much else. And I mean, they were the first overall pick last year. Like, I still think they're in a pretty big seller mode. I would have liked to see, is Jeff Petrie still there? I think he
No,
is.
he's on the
He is on the
Penguins.
Penguins now. Why was someone talking about Jeff? Who's the guy? Joel
Edmondson.
Edmondson. That's who it is.
I wish they traded him.
They should have traded him. I don't know why they're keeping some of these guys.
I mean, to be fair, like they had a lot of injuries, but still, I think they should have got at least some value.
Yeah, I don't know. What do we want to do? Do we want to vote Sean down or do we want to keep it here? Who wants to vote Sean down?
I mean, I'm willing just because when you look at the teams like next to it,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
said
guess
so.
I feel like it gets easier, like because you could see it, like
Yeah.
compared to the other teams. I
Okay.
can see the Wild getting shot down after in a bit.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Like we'll go back and
Yeah, I would agree with that. And honestly, like we're probably gonna need one of you to start a Zoom meeting because there's no way. Like the timer's at 2 minutes right now, so I'm just gonna be
want
honest.
to just power through all of these.
The Preds. I
Part one
got
of two.
I got the next two right now because I made a great trade. And
Mhm.
Matthias Ekholm, I liked what the Preds did. So I kind of thought that the Preds would be a rebuilding team, and I disagree with that now after looking at the roster. I mean, Dante Fabro has potential. Philip Forsberg has actualized that potential. UC Soros is a top 5 goalie in the league. Like, there's solid pieces here. There's guys to build around. I definitely didn't think they were a buyer, and I'm glad that they didn't do that, but I didn't think they were an all-out seller. I like the Ekholm trade. It kept them competitive with Barry, but it also got a couple picks in there. I'll go with solid. Like, I don't think that they were a team that, like the Blues
Mitch,
had what? What happened?
Tanner Jeanette.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. They're fleeced. I'm sorry.
I
I
mean, I know
completely
Tampa's
forgot.
going to turn him into like a 30 goal scorer, but still, like that value.
You know what? Actually, that I have to say, like, I forgot about Tanner Jeanette as a guy that they traded. That puts them in fleece. That ends the argument right there. No, I bet you that nobody outside of Nashville and the Tampa Bay front office knew who Tanner Jeanette was. And these guys got the first 5 picks in the draft for Tampa for him. I don't even know how they did that. That had to be the first offer. Like, there's no way you can reasonably negotiate. We want a first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and Cal Footy in there. And that's our final. That we can't go any worse than that. There's no way.
Yeah, Tampa Bay was like snoozing and they accidentally clicked the A button on their controller for this trade.
Yeah, no, that was awful. That was like an NHL trade where like you clearly shouldn't have made the trade that you did, but you wanted the guy. By the way, we have less than 1 minute, so right now, who's gonna start the next Zoom meeting? That's
Uh,
the way we're gonna do it. I trust
Yeah.
Costello. I'm giving it to him.
I
Okay.
don't have an account, so I can't.
You don't need an account. Just use Google.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Devils, I'm going. They got Meyer. I think Meyer was like their only addition. They paid a lot
No,
for
wait.
Meyer.
They also got Curtis Lazar.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'll go very nice. You know, Meyer, he gave up a lot, but he's an RFA, and I think that's an addition that I like. You know, a young guy who's going to be a part of that core for a while. I don't hate that. I like getting a younger guy. I don't want to see the Devils get a guy like Patty King because their team isn't in that stage yet. It was a lot, but it's a young guy. It's like a chicken in the hand rather than two in the bush. You know, you're getting a young guy. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So the Devils for me are very nice. They're not a fleeced category, but I think they did pretty good. I like Timo and the stage that they were at. That's going to be in the other video anyway, so I'm not going to go into that. Curtis Lazar is a nice depth guy. A lot was put out for not a lot coming in. I guess there were some other guys that were like weird depth pieces, but I'm still okay with very nice. If people wanted to move it down to solid because of the price they paid, I'm okay with that too.
No, I
You know,
think
kind of very nice, or
Yeah.
at least top solid, very nice.
yeah,
Okay.
I think that you could do one.
Now Sean Costello up with the most this is
Most
called the
familiar.
bias test. Let's see what he says.
All right, so I'd say the Islanders going solid, but I feel like they go in between Dallas and Edmonton because for the price that they paid for Bo Horvat, like I feel like Atu Ratu is the only thing I don't like about it because like Atu Ratu, I feel like you could have just done it with the first and Anthony Beauvillier because if you saw what a lot of these other teams paid for top line players, like I think we paid the most maybe. Like obviously Tampa Bay, that's an outlier, but like I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me that we gave up a first and we haven't had a first in a while and Atu Ratu for that. But I do like the Pierre Engvall acquisition. I feel like that's what brought us up a lot because I liked his game against Detroit. That's who it was.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna say something very controversial, and I'm gonna need you all to sit with me because it's gonna be an absolute ride, and you're not expecting what I'm about to do. Like, no one is expecting what's about to come out of my mouth. The first part you're gonna be expecting, but the second part you're gonna be so shocked. Actually, we'll start with the second part. I'm voting. I want to vote it down to meh. I think that this team should have been a buyer and a seller. I would have liked Scott Mayfield, Varley, and maybe even Peugeot to be out. I think, listen, the value wasn't totally there, but I would have liked some picks. I really don't see Scott Mayfield a part of the long-term future. I don't see how we can win a cup paying $5 million to our third line center. And I love Varley, but I do think he had value, and I think you could have re-signed him through free agency. So that's not a problem to me. The problem that I have with Sean's reason for being kind of met on them is Bo Horvat was a great trade. I'm sorry. I love the Bo Horvat trade. Let me defend it. Okay. Here we go. Atu Ratu might be great, but the key thing is it's still a might. Even if it's a really high might, it's still a might. The first sucks because it's going to be a pretty good first, most likely. But whatever. Anthony Beauvillier, I really don't care at all. Like legitimately, this guy did nothing in New York and got paid $4 million for another year on top of this. He had to go at some point. He could dominate in Vancouver. He could be as good as Wayne Gretzky. I'm not going to care because I know it wasn't going to happen here. So Atu in the first kind of sucks. But what does bro bring you? First of all, he's got 8 more years in an Islanders sweater. He's got what has this guy has absolutely taken the team to new heights. I mean, we're on such a large skid, and Bo Horvath comes in, he wins faceoffs, he kills penalty, he scores goals, which is absolutely wild. He brought so much energy to the group. He's probably going to be the captain after Lee. So I love that trade. The Engvall trade, incredible. This guy is a great two-way forward. When you watch him play and you know hockey, and I know the 3 people in here know hockey, like you'll appreciate how he plays, you'll respect how he plays, and you'll respect the value he brings to the team. But again, I still want to vote it to Med because Lou only did 2 things. This was not a team that should have done 2 things. They should have had a very active deadline, moving guys that aren't a part of the long-term plan and bringing in more guys. Like I would have liked like a Jacob Verana trade, but whatever. I'll let you guys take the floor. I spoke for a while there.
No, I think
I feel like you putting them in meh is a little bit it's very irrational for you because me as an Islander fan feel like we should not get rid of Pajot, Mayfield, and Varlamov because personally I love Varlamov and we have one of the best goalie tandems in the league. Fight me. And
I will.
and Scott Mayfield, I feel like he's gonna resign here. I feel like he loves it on Long Island. And
Have you
for
seen
Pajot,
Scott Mayfield play, Sean? Come on, buddy.
okay, but he's been pretty good in like the past games. Listen, he's all we got.
Man. He's
He's all
so
we got.
bad. He's so
He's
bad.
not bad.
Play Parker Wotherspoon. Don't play Scott Mayfield. He sucks. I'm sorry. He's a good guy though.
I like
Probably.
Scott. He gives us grit on a defense that doesn't have a lot of grit. Like you got Alex Romanov, but
Parker Wotherspoon's a big dude.
okay.
Pierre
but
Engvall's
is it-
6'5" as a forward group. This guy's an absolute monster out there. Who cares about height in our defense? This guy's gonna walk onto the ice and people are gonna run screaming. Okay.
I don't know.
all right. Well,
I feel like Varlamov should have went. You could have got cap space, and you already have Sorokin. So
I am an avid Simeon Varlamov supporter.
I mean, but what is he doing? You got Sorokin.
He's a backup. Like
Wotherspoon's 6'1", by the way. But you
I
can
mean,
carry on.
You can get like value and
okay,
cap
but what if he
space.
signed for like $2 million? That's really good for Varlamov.
Yeah, but like you could re-sign him in the off season. Like you can trade him for like assets and cap to use for forwards and stuff, defensemen.
Just imagine how Sorokin would feel too. Like he must get pretty lonely if he's the only Russian on the team.
Dude, what? Who? Come on. Really? This is what you're resorting to? Come
Yeah,
on now.
because those team connections are really important.
That's
to make
true. That's
players.
true. I will say though, if they didn't go on the tear that they've been on, like I'm sick of the Islanders losing and just coming out and being like, but boys, we have a great group in the locker room. Okay, this is one of the best groups you're going to be in the NHL. Lou is loyal. I don't know. That kind of gets old when you're not winning, you know? What else was I going to say? The tandem point. I hate goalie tandems. You want to know why? Who won the cup last year? The Colorado Avalanche. Okay, they kind of actually tandem because Darcy Kemper kind of sucks, but that doesn't count. Neglect that.
No, but it wasn't to, like,
What happened?
No, I'm saying it was a tandem, but it wasn't like basically 2 starters.
Yeah, exactly. What Sean said. Vasilevsky. Then it was then it's the Blues? Is it the Blues? Before Tampa, it's the Blues. So Binghamton, I think.
For Tampa, it's
the Blues, then the Capitals.
No, it
What
was
are we talking about?
The previous cup winners.
It was
Capitals,
Avalanche,
Tampa, Blues,
Tampa, Blues,
Caps.
Caps.
So Binghamton, Holtby, and then I think it goes Penguins, which would be it's kind of a tandem there, but that's because Fleury got injured. So that's come on. I mean, that was just one kid breaking out. And Matt Murray kind of took the role for a little bit there. So I'm not counting that as a tandem. And then the Blackhawks had Crawford and the Kings had Quick. There's never really a tandem. I'm sorry. The argument is stupid. Like Sorokin is going to make so much money and we can't be paying our backup $5 million when you have, I'm going to say it, the best goalie in the NHL. Igor ain't got nothing on him. Okay, I'm done now. I'm done now.
Speaking of Igor, let's go on to the Rangers.
Okay, wait. Whose is this? Is this Costello? Yeah,
No,
this is Costello.
this
No,
is
because
Sean.
I had who did I have? I had Predators. Oh, this is Sean. Sean got his team? That's wild.
That's just, it's beautiful. I don't know. I feel like the head could either go solid or very nice. Because I feel like, why don't we put them in? I'll put them in solid. I'll put them in very nice now, but we can always demote it. Because I like the Tarasenko trade. I like the Patty Kane trade. And even with the Tarasenko trade, getting Nico Mikola, he's not just a throw-in. He plays. I don't know. I feel like when you have a player like Patty Kane that's begging to come to you, you got to take that chance. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know if this team's really built for the playoffs. I mean, between Patty Kane and Panarin, just the last couple of games, they're just trying to force passes. They don't really have like a shoot first mentality. And they never will, obviously. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of weird. What do you guys think?
I think very
Yeah.
nice. I agree with you.
I'd put him in very nice or solid. I feel like the Rangers definitely could have gotten some defensemen in this trade
Yeah.
deadline
Mhm.
because that's something that they definitely need. Like Miller's injured, and then someone else is injured, right?
Yeah. They're
Miller
missing
lingered.
something. Miller was a
Yeah.
suspension, I think. Lingard's
Yeah,
injured.
for stupidity. They
Yeah.
got Tyler Mott, who's good defensively. But I mean, like, I don't know. The last couple of games have just been Igor's been just left out to dry.
I'm gonna
There's
be
like
honest with you,
no
Sean.
defensive forwards.
Sean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'm gonna need to get sleep after this because this is the most unbiased I've ever been for an episode ever. But the Rangers had a really good deadline. Like, it makes me kind of want to cry. But like Patrick Kane on Broadway was sick, and I liked
Yeah,
how they
no, that's
kind of
so
treated
sick.
the Blackhawks well. They treated him well, and the Tarasenko trade, I
No,
would have put them in a solid. But dude, I mean that Forsberg, like the guy's insane on Broadway. So I gotta go very nice. You did good. Golf clap. You guys did pretty good. I'm not even gonna hit you there.
I'm just saying that defense. I'm just worried about that. Not like the defenseman, but like just the structure in general.
That would be
Yeah.
right
I'm
up.
so worried about that. But I mean, they couldn't do anything about it with the cap.
Like when you guys get eaten alive by Tampa Bay, I'm gonna be laughing, but I'm also gonna feel really bad.
I mean, like, I'll be honest with you. I don't wish success for these two guys that just became Rangers, but I do applaud what you did. Like, I hope Patty Kane doesn't score a single point, but that's not the point, okay?
And I do think there's a time to like adjust. Like Tarasenko took time, but now he's finally getting into his game. I think Patty Kane just needs a few more games. And once we get our Z-core in shape, we'll see how it goes.
I agree. And that's something that I've really come to learn in like baseball. So I'm up with the Sens, and you know what? I feel like we really hit that Yotes deadline for the Chychrun deal. And I know that this was really their only deal, but it's so big for the franchise in general. And if we're gonna overhype it for the loser of that deal, I gotta overhype it for the winner of that deal. I mean, like, listen, Chychrun in Ottawa, he was emotional. He loves it. Like, this guy's a send for life automatically. I mean, his grandpa thing, and he scored already. He's a sick young defenseman, a great contract. And for Ottawa, I mean, like, man, they're back. They're rebuild. They're out of their rebuild. This is signaling the end of it. Like, this might even be a lotto pick, but next year with some more development from these guys, if they can re-up to bring Cat. I'm all in on Ottawa next year too. Like, I think they're a real team, and I think we all kind of thought that, but they've proven a lot more this year. Chychrun's going to help a lot with like Shabbat. I like Ottawa. I'm willing to move it to very nice. I think that's probably where they belong, but I think I just love that Chikrin deal. I don't
Yeah,
know what you'll think.
I agree. Like Ottawa, I keep them there. They did pretty good.
I think they made small deals too that helped their team. I don't think they went crazy, but I think they didn't tilt the needle to help them make the playoffs.
Yeah, like Chitrin, like they helped out a decor that needed help, and they helped it out really good.
That decor is going to be disgusting.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be crazy.
Brandstrom, Sanderson, Shabbat, and now Chikrin.
The Sens are
At
crazy.
top
Like they're
four,
crazy.
disgusting.
I
Zub,
mean,
fucking, oh shit.
and not even just the decor, like Giroux, Norris, DeBrincat, Tkachuk. Like, if they find a goalie, I would have kind of liked that Corpusalo trade for them, honestly. But Chikrin is, I think, a better option, but like a bigger improvement. But they definitely got to find a goalie, a good young goalie. Maybe you can draft one this year. I don't know what the goalie market is in this draft, but you got to find that, and then I think you're a very real team.
And they play good hockey. Like the
Yeah.
style they play it hard.
So Shawnee C's up with the Flyers, which is another boring one, if I'm being honest. These three are actually all kind of boring. Maybe not
let's see.
Lynch.
Flyers. Yeah, I mean they got Brendan Lemieux, but they didn't really do anything else. I don't think they did bad, and I don't think they did good. I just put them in like meh, but like very low meh.
Honestly, I'm willing to vote for Milbury. Like, I know there wasn't a market for JVR. There probably wasn't a market for any of their guys, and Chuck Fletcher embarrassingly made that known by throwing all of them under the bus. But this team needs to go into a rebuild. Their contracts are awful. I mean, Carter Hart is the one guy on this team, and honestly, I would probably consider trading him because I can't see them emerging for the timeline that he's going to be in his prime. I think he could have done more. He should have done more. Even if there wasn't a market, get something, get something at the very least. I don't know.
You
I'm
gotta sell your
okay.
players, promote them. Like,
Yeah.
not just they're not gonna, teams aren't gonna just walk up to you and be like, "Yeah, it can be him." But you gotta start trying to get your players.
So do you guys want to keep it in May or vote it down?
I feel like they should have did more.
Yeah, all right. I'm fine with Milbury.
I'll put him as a high Milbury though, because like these teams
Yeah.
are worse. Shawnee Lanny up with the Penguins there, buddy.
Depends. I love the Nick Bonino coming back to Pittsburgh. That's
Yeah,
great.
Sean thought he went to the Habs. I don't know what he was saying.
I mean, Granlund was a nice addition. Adds defensive stability. And I know they made one more. Who else did they get?
I know they were in on Miller and Besser, but they didn't get them.
I feel like they made one more. Should
I don't know.
Oh, they traded Bluger. I know.
Oh
kinda
yeah, they did
sucks,
do
though.
that.
I know they're
Yeah.
clearing cap. Oh, they made a few actually. They got rid of Spirit Kapanen on waivers.
Yeah, the waivers. Yeah,
That sucks. I mean, he didn't do shit for them, but
he was a good depth forward
yeah.
though. It was a high price, but I liked him as a depth forward.
I mean, Bluger, that sucks because he's a good depth player or like bottom six. But I mean, Granlund kind of cancels out the defensive. I feel like he adds a defensive presence to the forward group. And I think that's really it with the Pens. Oh, I gotta grade them. I think
Yeah.
that solid.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down with that. I mean, like, I don't know. That Jeff Carter trade last year at like midnight. Do you remember that deadline where they all happened
Yeah.
at midnight? That worked out incredible. It wasn't last year because the Islanders played into the playoffs. So it was 2 years ago. That was incredible as a trade. I think Granlund has, I don't want to say that potential, but like I could maybe see that happening. I don't know. It's good playoff. It's a good playoff conservative buyer deadline. I think next year they're sellers. I'll be honest. I'm glad that they didn't get Miller or Besser because I think that would have been too all in if I'm being honest there.
I feel like that would have been a disaster.
Yeah.
Besser probably not, but Miller, he's a good player, but 8 years.
Yeah. I
Sucks.
mean, they're not going to be that good for that long if we're being honest with ourselves. Just
They
can't
also
see
got
it.
Kulikov.
Yeah, that was good
Yeah, that's good
conservative
defense.
buyer.
Hmm.
Am I up with the Sharks? This one sucks. I honestly don't know what they did. They don't
got
trade Carlson.
for way too little. So boom, I'd put him in Milbury.
Oh, they did trade Timo Meyer. You know what? I don't know. I don't think they're Milbury. I think that they are a low meh
I mean, like, if
because
you did that trade for Timo Meyer, they traded an entire like NHL team. So
yeah,
like,
but no, let's be honest. Does anyone here actually know any of those forwards or
They're all
defensemen?
AHL players and stuff.
Yeah, they're no one
They were
big.
just like throwing like AHL players back and forth.
Yeah, I think that was just like roster management moves. Like, you know, in NHL, how you have to do like 50 contracts or something. That's what I think that was. Um, you know, the reason that I put him in man, not higher, like I do like getting the 2 picks and prospects and stuff. I think that their asking price for Dawson Mercer was outrageous, by the way, but Eric Carlson should have been moved. I mean, that is such an awful contract. And to me, you're very clearly in a rebuild. You're not a team that I see seeing the light at the end of the tunnel anytime soon. Even a lower pick would have been fine with me. I mean, the guy's having a Norris season. That's not going to happen next year. He's getting older and he hasn't been good earlier on in San Jose. So I would go with low Met because of that. Maybe even willing for Milbury, but preferably low Met.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think Milbury because they got a pretty decent return with the Meyer deal.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that guy's name, like Mama Doon or whatever the hell his name was. The
Yeah,
Devils.
I don't know. I don't know.
I know he's defensive. Well, I know he's defenseman, but I know he's pretty good.
all right,
Yeah,
Shawnee
next.
C. What you got?
Seattle Kraken. For their one trade at the deadline that happened February 5th. That wasn't even the deadline. They got Jacob Menga. So
That was their
not,
only trade?
I thought
it
they
wasn't
got
even. It was
Haronic.
February 5th.
Herenick? I think Herenick went to the Canucks.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's
no,
right. The stupidity of the Canucks.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
stupid. I'm
So
glad
just
that you used the weird.
They did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I don't think that did much.
We put him in
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay, Shawnee Lannon with the Blues. I'm really excited to see where you put this.
They traded O'Reilly and They got,
Sanko, Noel Ciari,
oh yeah,
and
Sanko.
Barbashev.
You know what? I kind of like their deadline. I'll go with solid, just because they got a fair return on Tarasenko. They got a fair return on Achari and O'Reilly. And I mean, picking up what's his face, Verona, he's a low risk play. I mean, he could turn something with more minutes in St. Louis. I feel like that's good. And also with the Barbashev, I really like that deal with Zach Dean. He's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be a great player, but I feel like he's just going to be the next Barbashev. Just like that guy with high intensity.
Sure, I don't think I'm gonna win the votes here, so I'll settle for very nice. But I think the Blues had the best deadline. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it right now. So I love the Sanko deal. First, second, and I think they maybe got like it was Hunter Skinner and
Skinner.
Sammy Blaze. Like Sammy Blaze is a
Yes.
project. Maybe it works out, probably not. Hunter Skinner's a low-end prospect, still prospect. Like the picks there. Then the O'Reilly deal, they got a lot for. I mean, Frank Cervalli called it a bust in the first minute, which was a lot, but that just emphasizes how much they were able to get, which I love. I love the Barbashev deal. And I love how they brought in some guys who could be potential trade deadline pieces in the future. Jacob Verana is one. I love that deal just for a 7th. That's not much at all. And then they brought in another guy who I kind of wanted on the Islanders, who I forgot. And I'm not remembering right now, but it was a really good move. The Blues made some really sneaky moves and some really big moves. I think they were definitely the best seller. And I think they were a good conservative buyer.
Yeah.
If
I
you
really
don't
liked
want
how they just
fleeced,
said.
I'll settle very nice. But you can finish your sentiment.
I wouldn't say fleece. I would just put it in
No.
very.
I think very nice.
Okay, I'll put him in very nice.
Because I don't think they really like fleece anybody. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's true. I got an interesting one, and just judging from how we went with Chandler Jeanette, this was their only acquisition. I mean, we know where this is going. Like, let's just be honest here.
Ooh.
Listen, it's a third line center, and the Lightning make nice moves with third line centers, and they know the importance of having four lines. Whatever. This is what the people say. What I say is 5 picks for a young guy whose ceiling is sort of looking like a third line checking forward who maybe is going to have a career like high of 20 goals a season, maybe if he's lucky 30. That's not worth it, bro. What Ryan O'Reilly was cheaper. Like, that's a great guy to put in your top 6. Imagine that you had the depth, and they do, to put him in your bottom 6. I know that it's longevity, and they're getting older, and they want a more sustainable third line. That's fine with me, but this was a high price to pay, so I'll pop them there.
Yeah, I don't got any opposition to that. I don't know
No,
what
I
they.
agree with that. I really wish they did something with the blue line too.
Yeah.
Even like a small move.
And they traded Cal Footy, who I think had potential at the blue line. Like, I don't think he was going to be incredible, but something, you know.
I think they could have got Klingberg, like make the cap work. Like,
They definitely could have got Klimberg. That was nothing at all.
I mean, that blue line would have been sick.
And they just decided, let's go all in for this guy that nobody knows. I thought it was a joke.
I think they're just hoping he turns into like a Hagel, like last year. They trade like 2 firsts for him.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
funny. But even Hagel was like, you saw like Hagel as a potential low bottom top 6 guy. Like,
Yeah, he was
that's
a
what
top
I
six.
saw.
Yeah.
This guy is his career high so far is 14. I mean, he's 24, but I can't see it getting that much higher than that. I don't know. Shawnee C, you got a very, 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 very the most interesting one today. You got the best one today.
Yeah, Toronto. I'd put them in. I wouldn't say fleece, but I put them in very nice because I they deepened their already really deep offensive core, and like they made a sacrifice with Enval, but like he was you needed to get rid of him with what you got. You got Luke Shen, Eric Gustafson, Jake McCabe, which is really good, Ryan O'Reilly, which oh my god, like this team is so good. If this team does not make the playoffs, or if this team doesn't beat the first round, then there's no hope for them.
Sam Lafferty too.
Jake McCabe.
Like, dude, Luke Shen. Oh my god. And Eric Gustafson, which is a nice depth add, and they got a first from that. This team
Chari.
got Noel Achari, Ryan O'Reilly, Sam Lafferty, who else is there? Luke Shen, Jake McCabe, and somehow they still have a first round pick in the draft. If they didn't give up a first for Sam Lafferty and him and more, I would probably have put them in fleeced. But because that price was a couple of picks and pretty high ones, I'm okay with very nice. I think they needed to make a move. I mean, Kyle Dubas kind of sits and pats at every deadline, and they haven't beaten the first round. He's in a contract season. Matthews is going to be in one soon. This was the right call.
Yeah. And I mean, like they turned Mike Murray into like a capable goaltender to an extent, and that's just crazy.
Yeah, that was wild. Wait, Sean, what were you gonna say?
I really like they're doing. I mean, I hate how they had to get rid of Sandin, but they got a first. But I really wish they did something with that first too. I don't know if they could have done any more, but maybe a goaltender. But
maybe
going in with
Chychrun.
that would have been crazy. But you can't say anything bad about their deadline.
Yeah,
Gotta respect Kyle Dubas going all in.
Kyle
Like, he
Dubas is
knows.
a wizard.
Mm-hmm. And the trades weren't even like going panicking. They were solid deals.
Sean Lanny's got a very, very interesting one here. I'm interested to see what you say. I think me and Costello are really going to be divided on this.
Hmm,
I'm interested to see where you put
fucking
it.
Canucks. Honestly, I think the Bill Horvat return was pretty good. I know Bovilli is playing good with them. Turatu is going to could be pretty good. And they got the first that traded to Detroit, so they don't got that first. I think they either Met or Milbury because they're just not like they got to make a decision. They either got to sell or just they got to compete. And to me, they haven't made a decision yet.
I think this team had too many tries with too many coaches to kind of say, like, okay, we supposedly have all these weapons, but we're not doing anything for a while. And then they trade their captain, and for some reason they trade no one else. And then they trade for Horenik, which makes no sense. And for me as an Islanders fan, made the Bo Horvat trade so much sweeter because now, like, first of all, if I get burned, I get burned by my second favorite team. Second of all, we didn't get, the Canucks didn't win the deal if this guy's a great pick from the Red Wings. The Red Wings won the deal against the Canucks. You know what I'm saying? So we can only lose the Horvat deal through Atu Ratu, in my opinion. So I like that.
Yeah, I could see that with the Horvat trade.
I mean, the only thing I like about their deal is they got Krasov, and I feel like he has so much potential with them. I know it didn't work out with the Rangers, but to me, they didn't give compared to what the Rangers were hoping to get, like a first and more for Krasov. They didn't get like nearly that. So I really
Yeah, I
like
think it
that
was like a
trade. But
7th.
yeah, it was like seventh and like another player prospect.
Yeah, Kratsov is
But
actually I like Kratsov play. I feel like he's gonna
mhm.
become like not a top like 6, but he's definitely gonna become like one of those guys that you need on a team.
Yeah.
I just wish they made a decision because they have so much potential, but like the stupidity of like trades. I mean, you think of Elias Pettersson, JT Miller, Quinn Hughes, Thatcher Demko. Like they have a set core, but just the stupidity of decisions with OEL and Connor Garland contracts.
Yeah.
And Bruce Boudreau, like damn.
Honestly, I agree. I would have put him in Millbury if you didn't say the Kravtsov thought. Like, I would have tried to vote for that, but I'm okay with Meta. I think they did get some decent young pieces, but they didn't make right calls in other areas. But just looking at the Millbury crowd, I don't think they're there.
Just frustrating because they have so much potential.
Yeah. And they have potential as a buyer and a seller, in my
Hmm.
opinion. But what are you gonna do? I have Vegas, which is an interesting one because this is like the first deadline since this team has been a team, maybe except their first one, where they haven't gotten the biggest player on the market. I mean, that Jack Eichel trade was crazy. And now we're here, and I think they made a smart move. I don't think you have to go all in. In fact, I don't even think that cup winning teams do go all in most of the time. I mean, I don't remember Tampa getting like the craziest guy from that deadline either year, and I don't really remember the Blues in general, but Vegas, I don't know. I like the Barbashev trade. I'll go solid, but I think smart asset management for a team that has definitely not has been going all in a lot. Nice to pull back a little bit.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't have any opposition to that. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Okay.
like even with Stone being injured, I feel like Barbashev could play in the top 6. It's good for that. And I like the quick deal. Low
Oh
risk.
yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely not a replacement for Robin Leonard, but he's a good goalie that he's got a lot of veteranity. He knows how to play in the playoffs. It's pretty good.
Okay. So we got Costello here with the Caps. Very interesting
Washington.
one also.
So, like with Washington, the same thing I said with Detroit. I feel like this trade deadline, and you heard it from Ovechkin too. This trade deadline, it showed how the Capitals have acknowledged that they're not a playoff team anymore, or at least with the squad they have right now. Like they got rid of Lars Eller, Eric Gustafsson, Hathaway, Orlov. Like this, they're they're not like they've accepted the fact that they're not making the playoffs this year, but they've got enough picks this playoffs to be like, hey, we're going to be back in a few years. Like they want Ovechkin to get that goal record, and I respect that. Like they're not going to go rebuild.
I
Mhm.
liked the deadline. I
Yeah,
thought it was
same.
smart. They definitely shouldn't have bought. I like Sanderson a lot, actually. I think him or Chitrin is the only way you bring to the blue line, you know? And Orlov, getting rid of him, I thought you got good value for him and Garnet Hathaway. I thought you got good value for your guys. And listen, I think that they should rebuild, but I'm willing to give Ovi a couple years. At some point, they've got I don't think they should do this rebuild on the fly thing that I think they're gonna try and do. All of the core is just too old. I'm sorry. I can't buy that. I think next deadline I won't be high on him, but this one, I'm okay with it. Wait, where did you put him?
I'm going to say low solid.
Okay, I'll put him there.
Yeah, I like the Sandin. Even though they got rid of a first, I feel like Sandin has a lot of potential, and he could like Toronto in a
I
few
think
years.
they have a first this year, unless they traded that one.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it is, but I feel like Sandin has a lot of potential.
And I like I get trading first for younger guys.
Mhm.
Like Sandine is kind of like what you're getting with a first, a young guy with a lot of potential. So I like the deal. I'll be
Mhm.
honest. Sean, you got to wrap us up here with the Jets, who I think is another kind of boring one, besides Nino Niederreiter, I guess.
Yeah, it's just really Nino Niederreiter, and that's really it. I mean, I know Logan Stanley wanted to get traded, but they didn't fulfill that wish. But I feel like it's just a shush. They weren't impressed with the last couple weeks of their hockey, and I feel like they brought in Nino to show the team that they want to be in a playoff team, but I don't think they want to go all in because I don't know if they're very sure that this team's ready to go deep in the playoffs.
No way this guy called me on the last team.
Average Conway moment.
No, why don't we give the last team to Pat?
Give the
Ask him-
last team to Pat.
Yeah, let him.
From Pat, we got you
Please
on.
leave
You're
a
on.
message for
No, he didn't pick up. Okay, he's done. He's done. Sean, where did you put them?
I think shush. They didn't really do much. Just Nino Niederreiter.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, neither had it for a second. I liked their deadline a little bit. I thought it was like conservative buyer.
I wouldn't put him at the very last part of Shush. I'd definitely put him above Anaheim because I
Yeah, I
like
could
Nino
see either meh
person.
or shush.
I think I'm willing to go to meh. I mean, Nino Ryder is like it's out of the shush for me.
Yeah. Honestly,
I can get behind him.
Niederreiter, like I know what I said. Like he's a good. I didn't mean like he's a good person. He's a good player. But like Niederreiter's been on so many teams right now. Like I wonder if he's like. I wonder what he's like in the locker room because he's a good player. Like I'd want him on my team, but so many teams have gotten rid of him.
That's true. Wild, Islanders, Canes, now Preds, now Jets. Maybe
We've
it's
been on a
just
lot
I
of
don't
like
know.
rebuilding teams besides the Canes, but
Yeah,
Canes
that's
couldn't
true.
afford them.
This is another competitor team he's on. It's kind of interesting for him. I'm okay with a middle of the pack meh. I
Mhm.
think I like Nino Ryder. He's a good depth scorer. Okay, I'm just gonna electively do that. Yeah, so that's it. We did it. This is our list. I'm so proud of each and every one of us. It only took us about like 2 hours, but that's not what it's about. It's about the friends we made along the way, and we had a blast. I hope you guys enjoy this. I had a great time. We got to do more of this, fellas. Like we got to maybe do podcasts this way. Just hop on a Zoom, talk about some Mets baseball or something. If y'all are down.
Yeah.
I think that's it though. Bye everybody.
All right. See you.
Peace.